So, yeah, but I found out when I got into fitness, it wasn't really that good. And then she would always be like, "Dad, let's eat some steak." So, what I do is I go out and I get the bottom
Mm,
round, and I'll chop it up. And then when I do that, I can even get some flank steak or some down here. We got some sizzle steak,
mm,
very low fat content. It says like 3.5 to 4.5 grams of fat. And then what I'll do is I'll chop it up real fine, and I'll make with some fat free cheese, and then I'll get some
uh,
low carb tortillas, put it all together, and then it's
mhm.
probably like maybe like 340 calories with per four serving,
Wow.
and plus the tortillas. And I give it to her, and she loves it. But she doesn't know the
Wow.
difference. So,
Yeah,
but
yeah.
if I
Hmm.
was to tell her, yeah, this is this type of steak, and she thinks it's a regular old steak. That's how I get over on my 12-year-old.
Mm. So trick her. You got to trick
Yeah,
him. You just trick him.
yeah.
Yeah.
It is kind of crazy, but trying to get
Wow.
her better.
I
I
love
will
that.
say
Hmm.
for me, it's like, because I even tell my patients this, I'm like, toxic is toxic. I don't care if you're family or not. That's the way it is, right?
Yeah.
I I'm a little cutthroat on that one. Because my mom's not the best person. Anyway,
Ooh.
uh,
She said that, mama, not me.
yeah. So, with that, it's like, I have these certain standards,
Yeah.
and if you are not going to follow my standards as their
Yeah.
parent, then your time with them is limited until you
Ooh.
follow my rules.
Ooh.
Plain and simple.
Yeah.
That's the way I feel about it. Um, but I do typically, when they go to my mom's house or they'll go to see their father and those kinds of things, I try to encourage them to take their protein shakes, which
Yeah.
I've gone through many to try to find ones that they like. I have some pre-made
Mm.
ones that they absolutely like, and I buy them by the caseload at Costco because they like them and they're good protein shakes for them. And
Hmm.
but I have to put my foot down, because I'm like, in the end, are you gonna take care of these kids if something happens to them, if something
Yeah.
happens to their health because you did this? No, you're not. Who's
Mm.
paying them the bills for them? Right? That's me. So
Hmm.
I have the final say.
Hmm.
Sorry, not sorry.
Wow. Wow. That's a great point, man. Anybody else? Anybody else? Giselle, even you. You've been a little quiet up there. In regards to, I know you don't have kids, and I don't have kids either, but I guess in some sense, how would you handle that? Would it be this? I actually think I know, but how would you handle that?
Yeah,
You.
I agree with D. I'm like
Yeah,
D.
I know.
Well, but it's not, it's just boundaries. If you
Yeah,
can't respect boundaries, then like you have to go, kind of, it's like, sure, I'll give you time to like try to understand, but like it's just all about boundaries. I feel like if you respect someone, you should respect their boundaries,
yeah.
period. Like, why it doesn't have to be complicated. So that's what, like, because I'm like that. Like, and if someone doesn't respect my boundaries, it pisses me off, because I'm like, why is it so hard for you? Like,
Yeah,
if you're like really my friend, or if you really
yeah,
like, why is it so,
yeah.
anyways, a whole nother thing. But the point that I'm trying to say is, but along with like what you were asking everyone, with the whole like whose fault is it,
Yeah.
with like being addicted, I think it's just a little bit of everyone. Like, it could be
Mm-hmm.
parents,
Mm-hmm.
but even that, I mean, it's kind of hard because like they don't know any better. But still, I mean, I think we all know like McDonald's isn't the best option. We know, like, overall we have an idea of what's healthier and what's not too. So there's also
Yeah,
that.
yeah.
Also like the big companies,
Mm.
constantly making food
Mm-hmm.
unhealthy foods
I'm really good.
cheaper, making it more convenient. I was also going to mention, um, I remember learning that like there are certain ingredients,
Mm.
chemicals in our foods that cause the addictive, like, spike, or I don't know how to phrase it, but
Yeah,
like
yeah,
it causes people to get addicted. So it's also that too. It all comes down to the ingredients, like what we talked about in the very beginning of the
yeah,
meeting.
yep.
So it comes down to that too. And I don't know how, I don't really understand the full science of it, but I've heard that it causes people to get addicted to it, and it causes people to keep craving
Mm-hmm.
whatever it is, whether it's
Mm-hmm.
fries or, yeah. So it's just a little bit of everything, really.
Yeah.
And also yourself too, because I do think at some point, like if you're an adult, like like, you know, if you're an adult, like, and
Yeah.
if you really do notice like health problems are starting to happen, or the doctors are starting to tell you like numbers are kind of looking high or stuff,
Yeah. Yeah.
you
Yeah.
know, it's you have to make that choice.
Yeah. Absolutely.
And you can't always run from that either. So it is kind of it's a little bit everything, like I said.
So everything is equal to you. There's no more blame here than there. Everything is like, hey, you have just as much power over your addiction as the person who started the addiction for you.
Yeah, yeah,
Okay.
because ultimately it's like, you know, it's really up to you whether you're gonna choose to let that addiction control
Yeah.
you and drown you or you stop it. It's really up to you, you know. I mean, it's hard, but
Yeah.
I feel like I'm just the type of person where again I see things like in a positive light, like somehow you can break it, but you know, it's up to the person, really, I feel.
Mm, mm. I love it. I love it. Anyone else? All right, man. I will go back to this for a minute in regards to you. You know, because you're so vocal on your addiction with alcohol. You would say the same because the question I have here is in a sense, should we treat food like drugs? You know, should food be just as serious when it comes, there's like no, you know, all the smoking ads and the no smoking ad, hey, you can cause cancer, cigarettes cause cancer in your lungs, like those type of ads. Should we be just as serious about that with food? Should we be like Captain Crunch causes can't, like should we be all out there, or is it
The,
okay? Mm-hmm.
yeah, I don't think that it would get to that point because
Mm-hmm.
I mean, like eating too much sugar and stuff like that. We have man, I think it shot up to like what was it? Dang, I feel bad because I just learned this like freaking 4 months ago. I think it's like 75% to 80% of our well, not children, but from
Yeah.
teens from 18 to 25 are obese. Um, and that's bad. You know what I mean? It's like that high of a percentage that
Yeah.
from 18 to 25 they're obese,
Mm-hmm.
and like you don't see like all out there about promoting about what makes it obese, what makes our kids obese. You know what I mean? It's like stuff like that,
Mm-hmm.
like all the sugary foods and stuff.
Mm-hmm.
The diabetics, you know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
Diabetes is just like right there on the rise. It's like ridiculous on how many of us Americans are out there with diabetes, borderline
Yes. Yeah,
diabetic,
borderline diabetes.
and
Yeah.
and borderline is just like wow. I couldn't believe when I read that. Is that and it all could be reversed if we put more information out there. But I don't think our government wants that, to be honest with you, because like if you would know better, you wouldn't do it. You know, if you knew eating so much of this will cause you to get some health problems, 9 times out of 10 you wouldn't do it. But you don't know no better, and I'm eating these terrible carbs. And the next thing you know, my body gets insulin resistance, and then next thing you know, I'm in a bad situation. But if I knew it or if I was educated about it, I probably wouldn't have went that way. And that's what's bad and I think in our country.
Yeah.
And yeah, I just think that that's kind of bad,
Mm-hmm.
but yeah, it's pretty messed up.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Yeah.
Can
Yeah.
I say something that's gonna kind of maybe make everybody mad?
Please. I
For
saw you.
sure.
I saw your hand. Please say it.
So by law, restaurants and FDA approved foods by law have to put in their labels that it contains chemicals that may cause cancer or other diseases. But here's the thing, nobody pays attention because they don't care, because they just
Or
want to indulge, and
or
they
read.
just look past it. Yeah. Like almost every McDonald's, Burger King you walk into, the first thing you'll see is a sign in the entrance of the door that says the foods that we serve may contain chemicals that cause cancer or other diseases.
Yeah.
And it's
Yeah.
crazy because nobody pays attention because it's so good that so does everything
Yeah.
else.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
And that's crazy too because you can even like even on not just from fast food perspective, 90% of my people who I talk to who come to me and ask me about weight loss, like, man, all you have to do is look at the nutrition fact, bro. What is the nutrition fact? I'm like, are you fucking serious? You know what I mean? Like, yeah, when I'm talking about the nutrition fact, a lot of my people do not know about that. Like, everybody when I talk to, he's like, well, how do you count macros? I'm like, check out the nutrition fact. And I was like, I knew about it somewhat when I was growing up because you know we were taught a little bit of that in school, but we didn't go deep into it.
Yeah.
But yeah, I was like, man, it tripped me out. It blows my mind. A lot of people just don't know about the nutrition fact. You know what I mean? Even the daily percentages of them too. You know what I mean? What's high in fiber, or what's high in protein, or what's high in carbohydrates, or what's high in saturated fat. Yeah, it's kind of crazy. You know, like this stuff is not actually pushed upon us as kids.
Yes. Man. I don't even know what to say. I'm like, man, I don't know if this, Elena, what you just said, is that true?
Yeah.
Yeah, it is. No, those are facts. Yeah, those are facts.
That's scary. That is scary, man. Like I'm literally gonna go look for that next time. Like, so where is it usually?
Usually it's either on the door or the first thing you see when you walk in the door, because they have to put it where you can see it. On drive-through windows, they'll have it on drive-through windows. Yeah, and if they don't, then they're not complying.
Hey, you want to hear something totally crazy that over here, and Miss D will probably recognize this. Over here down in Texas, Whataburger is supposed to be the best, healthiest fast food chain restaurant now. I've seen an ad for that, and I'm like, how the hell are they promoting fast food to be healthy? I just don't get it. You know what I mean? Yeah, they are promoting that here, and I don't know how they're getting away with that.
That is nuts.
Yeah, Whataburger is supposed to be the healthiest fast food restaurant. And what is that going to make people want to do? Oh, I'm going to Whataburger because, God dang it, that's healthy.
It's 90% water.
Starting a new diet plan, Whataburgers.
Right.
Yeah, Whataburger. Man, screw that meal plan.
I mean, at least In-N-Out offers you an animal style with the lettuce wrap and stuff like that. Oh man.
Yeah. It's crazy, man. When I heard that on the radio, and then I even seen the ad on it, and I was like, "Are you fucking kidding me?"
It's a water burger. I guess that's a good way to advertise it. 90% water. You know,
don't get me wrong, man. They are killer, bro. They are killer.
Yeah,
I have not touched fast food in over a year.
Wow.
And Whataburger is just like one of my pet peeves. Is that, man, I was knocking out triple meats, man. I actually did my homework and counted the calories on that. Like a triple meat with the medium fries was like over 148 grams of saturated fat, with like over 14, I think close to 1,500 calories just in one sitting. Just in one sitting, bro. I was like, dang, I can't believe I used to put that in my body.
And there's some people that'll go and be like, I'm gonna just get a little something. I'm just hungry right now. Boom. 1,500 calories. Done.
Yep, easy. It's really not the calories part, is the fat content. What is just blows my mind. Yeah. And then they wonder why we can't get healthy.
Absolutely.
I keep on going down here in Texas because we promote breakfast burritos like they ain't nothing. And those breakfast burritos, those breakfast burritos, like the breakfast burritos, like we're down here, we're famous for. And I did my macros on that, and it's like, golly, man, you're eating 1,800 calories because the tortilla is just so delicious, but like they're using the hardest bacon out there. And then they're using, man, it's bad.
Yeah.
But it is very delicious, though.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. Taco Tuesday all day long. Tacos for breakfast, tacos for lunch, tacos for dinner. Yeah, it's a thing.
It's like even in my house, I still incorporate it, though. But I go with the leaner version.
Right.
You know what I mean? I could go with the 93.7 lean ground beef, and then
Yeah.
or not like how I did with my quesadillas for my daughter. I'll get the sirloin, or sirloin is medium borderline up there, but either the sirloin or the flank steak or bottom around, chop that up into little strips, and then
Yeah.
I have with the corn tortillas. The corn tortillas, they're not the best, but you know what I mean. They're at 100 calories, but they're like don't have no fat in them and stuff like that. But instead of choosing that instead of flour tortillas, how else would I go about it? Like I tell you what, I'm not a big fan of the keto, but their tortillas are just they're like
Mm,
ridiculous because they're like
mm,
got like 45 calories per tortilla, no fat, and then
wow.
it's like the carbs are just tremendously low. It's like the healthiest thing you can actually put in your body, but from a tortilla standpoint,
Wow.
from a
Wow.
tortilla
Yeah,
standpoint.
yeah, from the tortillas. Right. Yeah, yeah. You have to say
Yeah,
you have to
yeah.
say that. Yeah.
Yeah, from a tortilla standpoint, that's pretty much the best way to go about it. But like 45 calories per tortilla is in, you know what I mean? You could throw some beans in there. Beans are a good source of carbohydrates and stuff. But
Yeah.
there's all kind of good ways to still go about the Taco Tuesday and still join in the festivities.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly, man. And again, it's that, and actually that leads me to my last question. And that is, how do you avoid falling into these traps? How do you all avoid week after week, month after month, year after year? How do you avoid falling into this addiction? This death trap. I guess you can call it a death trap. Diabetes, high blood pressure, all these different things are death traps. Let's just be honest. I think nowadays they're actually watering it down. It seems to be kind of cute to have high blood pressure or something. Like, it doesn't seem to be that serious anymore. But how do you all avoid those traps?
Self-discipline.
Oh, yep. That's Giselle's word. Yeah. And
Discipline, and I think too is just remembering your why. Like, why did you
yeah,
even start on this journey? Why did you,
that's
you
good.
know, decide to step into a gym, and why did you decide to have a healthier food choice?
That's
What
good.
what brought you to that point?
That's
And
good.
remembering that and keeping
Hmm.
that as your focus. I mean, everybody's going to have a different one, right? But
Hmm.
if you lose sight of that, then what do you have? Is it really
Mm,
that important if it's not that important to keep you on track?
mm. I love that. I love it. And you stated that about your daughter. You stated it about your daughter, how you didn't want them to experience what you experienced with your father. That's your why.
Yeah,
That's your why.
that's my huge why.
That's a huge why.
All
I
three
love
of
it.
them.
I love it. I love it. I
Yeah,
love it.
yeah.
And going to you, Elena, I'm sorry. I know you were saying discipline. You mentioned discipline. What does discipline mean to you? I know I asked that question on the last call, but what does it mean to you?
I mean, you have, especially on this journey, you have to have self-discipline for every aspect of it, to reach your fitness goals, to keep yourself consistent, to eating the right way. You have to have self-discipline. And to me, that just means take accountability. If
Mm,
you're having cravings, well, if you indulge, that's on you.
yeah.
And then you're gonna feel bad, and then you're gonna feel guilty, and then you're gonna feel like, oh, now I have to start all over again. Well, that's your choice that you're making yourself. So if you don't want to go down that rabbit hole,
Mm,
you got to keep yourself accountable. You got to hold yourself to what your goal is and what you're trying to get to. Not everybody's fitness goal is the same as, I'm doing this to lose weight, or I'm doing this to be healthy.
mhm,
It's like my fitness goal is I want to be strong. I started my fitness as I wanted to lose weight, but now I just want to be strong. But even still, with my
mhm,
goals of being strong, I have to make sure that I'm eating enough protein. I have to make sure that I'm getting enough good carbs. I'm getting enough good fats, and I have to hold myself accountable for when I am not meeting those goals, and
mhm,
or when I do indulge, like, well, it's okay, but let me get back on track and not let this,
mhm.
make me fall down the rabbit hole.
Exactly. And I love that. You stated that. You stated the aspect of getting back on track, or even indulging, in that being okay, right? Still moderation and things of that nature that you can have those 3 bags of chips while watching Netflix.
Oh, shots fired. Shots
I had
fired.
to do it. She set herself up for that. See, I even think she mentioned chips. I was like, hold on, like
Karma's gonna get you,
Oh,
okay?
man.
Karma's gonna get you back, Trey. Don't worry.
I was like, I know she ain't just saying something about chips. I was like, no. She's like, she just say, I was like, oh, did her and her husband were eating chips, watching Netflix early. Now I was like, oh, but accountability.
Hey, I've been having cravings. I'm giving in a little bit. Okay. I mean, it was a little more than a little bit, but
Nah, you're good. You're good. I'm fine. I had to throw that in there. This is my humor. I have to. I got a whole bunch of shots. Just wait. But but I got to go back to what D just posted. Art, we're coming to you, man. But D, you just posted something in the chat. Can you read that out? That actually, I love that.
People often say that motivation doesn't last. Well, neither does bathing, and that's why we recommend it daily.
I think that's very humorous, but also I love that. Could you break that down in regards to motivation and what that means to you?
So for me, a lot of times you can lose sight of your motivation. Like when you don't want to get up and you've had a long day at work and you don't want to go to the gym, and it'd be so much easier just to get in your PJs and watch your Netflix and get caught up with everybody else on Walking Dead and that kind of stuff. But for me, it's like just seeing my girls and it's like, okay, this is why I'm doing this. This is why. And having that reminder, and remembering as much as it sucks, but to remember what I felt like in those shoes on that day in 1999 and being like, never, ever will I ever, because I know my dad didn't purposely do that to me. And if he knew that he was going to do that to me, I guarantee he would have changed his life. Absolutely. But that's where it's like, okay, I need to make better steps. I need to make better choices because again, breaking that cycle to my kids don't do that for their future generation. Be like, my mom was strict, my mom was hard, but my mom loved me, and that's what it is. And I want them to be able to say that and tell their grandkids rather than me having to tell stories about my dad to them. I want to be able to tell my stories to my grandkids and so on and so forth.
Man, that's powerful. That I completely feel that 100%, D. Man, I'm so glad you made the time to get in here. Like this is man, dope. Absolutely dope. No, thank you. I just had to go back to that real quick. And I saw you posted. I was like, I've never heard that, but that is a really good way to put it. All right, man. For you, man, how do you avoid falling into these death traps, these addiction death traps when it comes to food?
It's actually quite easy for me. And to be honest with you, I really didn't know that, I was actually that disciplined for it until like it got brought to my attention. But I never like started saying it like, yeah, bro, I'm disciplined. That man, yeah, I'm disciplined. I never did it because I really didn't look at it from that aspect because the reason why I keep pushing and going on my journey and on my track, the way I roll with things, is because I don't want to feel that guilt. That guilt I get when I've actually the very first time I had a cheat day, and it was on my birthday. And for D and probably Elena, I don't even know if I shared this with Giselle, but y'all probably don't know. I was let's see, April, May, June, July, August. So I was 5 months deep into my calorie deficit cut and strict by the book. I never touched anything. I was going just dialed in. I'm just dialed in. I'm like 5 months into it. And then it got to August where it was my birthday. And then I was like, you know what? Man, it's my birthday. I'm gonna go ahead and just the whole entire day I'm not counting calories. I'm gonna eat whatever whatever I want. I'm just gonna enjoy my day. It's my birthday. I'm putting everything to the side. Well, I did that. And then I had one of those big ass burritos which I was just talking about in the morning. And first thing in the morning, I went and got one of those big ass burritos I was talking about. And then my whole entire time I was eating it, I felt ashamed. I felt bad. I
Mm.
felt like I did something terrible.
Yeah.
And then I kept on, like, I'll take it a step further, like, Elena, you're married, so I'll be like, it would be like you cheating on your husband, or me cheating on my wife, or you know what I
Mm.
mean? In that
Damn.
perspective, it's like
Yeah.
if I did something that bad,
Wow.
and then
Mm.
I rolled onto my lunch, and then I ate some seafood gumbo, and then
Mm.
seafood gumbo, it's one of my favorites,
Mhm.
and the fat content, I knew what's in it, but I still indulged in it.
Yeah.
And then I felt bad again. And then to end my night on my birthday, I ate dang near a whole large pizza.
Mm.
And like, why? Yeah, yeah, I went all out. If I'm going out, you know
Mhm.
what I mean.
I know I'm
I'm
down.
gonna take it to the extreme, you know. But all three of those meals, I felt bad. Like I did something horrible. I was like,
Yeah.
you just been 5 months strict. Now look what you're doing.
Yeah.
And then the following day, I was sluggish.
Mm.
I didn't want to move. It
Yeah.
was hard for me to get around just
Mhm.
because of all that bad stuff I put in my body. And it was almost like a food hangover because it took me like 2.5 to 3 days to get back to where I was,
My
back to
goodness.
normal. You know what I mean?
Mhm.
Yeah. And for me to go back on my routine. And then, so for me, it's very easy to stay
Yeah.
on my track and stay away from stuff like that because that guilt I had
Yeah.
that day,
Mhm.
I don't I don't really wanna feel like I did that day. But yeah, you know what I'm saying? Like
Little
I
Anthony
do not,
Kiedis for you.
yeah. Like I just do not want to feel that way. So it's very easy for me to stay on point and stay on track. And like I'm not even much gonna lie or front. Like, do I still have my meals? Yeah, I do, but I make it fit my calorie deficit. I
Yeah.
make it fit lately I've been in a surplus. How about I've been in a surplus for the past 5 months? I just ended it today.
Woo.
Uh, but I did more bad eating when I was in a calorie deficit than when I was actually in my surplus. You know what I'm
Yeah.
saying? It's kind of crazy.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's the reason how
Mhm.
I stayed. And a lot of people were calling it discipline, and I was like, man,
Mm.
to be honest with you, if you knew how I felt, I then I could look at it as like, yeah, okay, it is kind of discipline to
Mm.
stay like that, but like it was more of an emotional thing for me.
Yeah. 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 Man, that is I appreciate you opening up and admitting that. I think it again goes back to Elena, discipline. Discipline equals accountability. All right, that's exactly what it is that you displayed. And I think,
Mhm.
if anything, you're a great example of discipline, not just your physique, but I think the very character you hold yourself to from me knowing you. And then also on top of that, seeing the work, seeing the content. I think all of you actually have amazing discipline. But Giselle, to close us off with the question, how do you avoid the death traps of the food industry and things of that nature? Now I know you're gonna say discipline, but I do want to know, like, for people that are listening who may be your clients, potential clients, what are things that they could, in a sense, utilize? Maybe three things that they could utilize within that discipline to help them, I guess, in some sense, avoid it as well. To stay, and again, not to say that you can't throw moderation, that you need to throw moderation out the window, but at least in some sense, not to fall into that addiction.
Besides discipline, that was gonna be my answer. Because that's what I tell my clients. I
Yeah.
don't talk about motivation. There's no such thing. I tell them there's no such
Mm-hmm.
thing as motivation
Yeah.
at all. Like you're wasting your
Mm-hmm.
time trying to find it because there's no such thing.
Mm-hmm.
I talk to them about discipline all the time.
Yeah.
But I think what helps is educating yourself about like what we
Mm-hmm.
just talked about like how the businesses add hormones, about the
Yeah.
horrible ingredients and chemicals in a lot of our foods. So it's
Mm-hmm.
just like a matter of educating yourself. But even then, it's hard because the person, kind of like how Elena brought up the whole thing with like every restaurant should have like a sign, like whether the stuff
Mm.
they have has causes cancer and stuff like that.
Yeah.
Like it's really up to you though, if you want to learn about the ingredients, if you want to learn
Mm-hmm.
about you know, healthy food and non-healthy food. It's really up to the person. Like as much as
Mhm.
I would want to help them,
Yeah,
it's on them if they if
if
they
they
choose to do it
choose.
or not.
Yeah,
hmm
yeah.
But I would say educating yourself because that helped
That's
me. Because
good.
if
That's
I would,
good.
well, because like I wouldn't be so like on my healthy foods
Yeah,
if I didn't know. Just like the rest of like probably like 90% of the population, like
absolutely.
how we said, like people don't know, so they eat all of this crap
Yeah.
just because they don't know.